Today we're going to learn how to read resistors and capacitors. Okay, now for resistors, let's concern ourselves with just two common types for the moment. First of all, I'll place a 1 watt resistor in front of the camera. It has 3 colour bands and then a 4th band, but I'll put it in front of the camera. That's it there. You can see the first band's red, then violet, then yellow, and the 4th band is gold. Okay. Then we have a 5 watt resistor. It's commonly referred to as a brick. This is pretty easy to read. Don't know if we can get it there. There we go. 5W meaning 5 watts. 10R, 10 ohms. Basically 10R standing for ohms. 5 watt, 10 ohm resistor. These get hot, so watch them. Now, okay, telling the value of a resistor. I mentioned a little while ago that we had a 1 watt resistor which had a first band of red, then a second band of violet, and then a 3rd band of yellow, and then a 4th band of gold. So the first band is basically the first band being red means the first digit is a 2. The second band being violet means the second digit is 7. The 3rd band is how many zeros are on the end. Now this is a yellow band on this, so it means it's 4 zeros. So 2, 7, and then 4 zeros. Now that equates to 270,000 ohms, or 270 kilo ohms. 270,000 ohms is 270 kilo ohms. Now this also has a tolerance band. The 4th band is tolerance. In this case its colour is gold, which means it can be 5% out. So 2.5% above or 2.5% below that value. And that is how you read a resistor. Okay, let's look at capacitors. Now, capacitors are measured in farads. 1 farad is a very large unit, so generally we will work in microfarads, which is 10 to the minus 6 farads, nanofarads 10 to the minus 9 farads, or picofarads 10 to the minus 12 farads. Now, let's look at a couple of types of capacitors. First of all, an electrolytic capacitor. Just put that in front of the screen. Okay, now, reading the value on this guy, very easy. 1000 microfarad, 25 volt. This fellow is filled with what they call an electrolyte. It's like a gel substance. Okay, electrolytic capacitor, very easy to read. Now this guy here, in Australia we call him a green cap. Well, he's green. He has a value on him of 103. Can't read it because it's the writing's very small, but we'll get to that in a second. Okay, if you see a capacitor with 103 on the side, like the little green cap that we just had, what it means is that there is a 1, and then a 0, and then 3 noughts. And that value is in picofarads, the smallest of our capacitance measurements. So 1, 0, 0, 0, 0 picofarads, or 10,000 picofarads, or 0.01 microfarads. 104, 10, then 1, 2, 3, 4. So 100,000 picofarads, or 0.1 microfarad. 102, 2 noughts. 1000 picofarads, or 0.001 microfarads. Very easy to read. Okay, this is Englishman, and he's just flown into Sydney. Been on the plane for a long time, dying for a drink. So he's walking down George Street, City, and he sees this sign, bar, level 2, 2 stories up. He thinks, great, I'll go in there, I'll grab a drink, meet some of the locals. So anyway, he goes up 2 flights of stairs and enters this bar, typical Aussie bar. Orders a beer from the barman. He's sitting there, swigging away on his beer. Anyway, he's been there about 5 minutes or so, and in walks this fella and says, barman, schooner of VB. So anyway, the barman hands him the beer, and the fella, he chugs it down really quickly, looks at the window, races towards the window, and he jumps clean out of the window. Anyway, the Englishman, he's thinking, geez, I'm sure we're 2 stories up. Madness. Anyway, keeps drinking his beer, and about 2 minutes later, the same fellow walks into the bar again. Says, barman, schooner of VB. The Englishman, he looks at this fellow and thinks, can't be. Anyway, the guy knocks back his beer real quick, looks at the window, races to the window, jumps clean out. Anyway, the Englishman, he's looking, he's thinking, how the hell did he do that? Couldn't be possible, I've got to give up drinking. Anyway, about 2-3 minutes later, the same fella walks in again, and he says, barman, schooner of VB. Just about to drink it, and the Englishman says, hey, whoa. Hey, are you the fellow that was in here twice already? The guy says, yeah, I was. And he says, and you ordered 2 beers? And he says, yep. And he says, and then you ran out that window. And he says, that's right. He says, we're 2 stories up. You should be dead. How do you do it? Anyway, the fellow, he turns around and he says, well, what I do is I drink the beer really quick. And as the effervescence of bubbles are rising in my stomach, I jump out the window and I float down to earth. And the Englishman says, that's incredible. He says, give it a go. So the Englishman orders a new beer and chugs it back, races straight for the window, jumps out the window, dead as a maggot on the pavement, splattered everywhere. Anyway, the barman, he turns to this fellow and he says, you're a real mongrel when you've been drinking, Superman. Oh dear. Yep.